Hello and a warm welcome to the Successful Garden Design Show. In this episode, number 33, we're going to draw lots of inspiration from nature and look at the wonderful natural planting schemes to help you create a stunning planting scheme in your garden. If you're frustrated your garden doesn't look as beautiful as it could, even though you've purchased lots of lovely plants, then help is at hand. Plants are not enough. You have to have a good design layout. And when you combine design with the beauty of plants, that's when the magic really happens. It's our mission here at Successful Garden Design to show you how to do it. And it's much easier than you may think. I'm Rachel Matthews and I've been a professional international garden designer for over 25 years and I teach garden design online. So in this episode we're going to take a walk on the wild side and we're going to look at some stunning Mediterranean planting. Now, even if you don't want to create a Mediterranean planting scheme in your back garden, fear not, there's plenty of tips and inspiration that you can draw from these natural planting schemes, regardless of the type of planting scheme you'd like to create. Now, spring in Spain is one of my favourite times of year because of the sheer abundance of wildflowers, which I get the joy of on our weekly Wear Out the Dog walks, and my little teenager requires quite a lot of walking. She's very energetic, so we take her up mountains and try and wear her out. And last week we found some wonderful lavender walks, which were really inspiring. So much so I clambered back up a few days later with all my camera equipment, much to the joy of the dog to get to do this walk twice. The details of which I will put at the end of the video, and in the description I'll put a PDF that you can download so that you can do this. But it's in southern Spain, just below Granada, and it's a lovely 15k loop. And it takes in some absolutely spectacular scenery. What starts out to be quite an unassuming sort of mountain or hillside, when you actually get close up, there's quite an amazing variety of lavenders and rock roses and phalomis, interspersed with lots of pine trees and palm trees. And when I first clambered up over the top of this mountain and saw it all, I looked down and was like, wow, that in a garden centre, if someone came in and bought this lot, there'd be several £1,000s worth of planting. And to see it growing naturally in its environment was just breathtaking. So what can we learn from these, what Mother Nature does best? Well, the first thing I'd like you to look at is, one, the colour scheme. And you could say that's more luck than judgment because it doesn't always work out well in nature, but on this occasion it really does. You've got the lovely purple of the lavenders and the soft pink of the rock rose. And that combination with the very gentle pink phalomis as well, it's a nice combination. There's nothing jarring in it. So that's one of the main keys, keeping a colour scheme that works. So if you'd like to learn more about how to combine colours to create stunning combinations, check out Garden Design Show episode number 9, where I show you some cheats ways of creating stunning colour schemes without having to learn in-depth colours theory. And the other thing is, other than the stunning backdrop, now I know not everybody has a mountainscape like this to look at, but even if you don't, if you just concentrate on the plants alone and look at the colours they put together, but also notice how that palette is very simple. There's only sort of 3 or 4 varieties of plants there. And I know the tendency is to want to get as many different varieties crammed into the garden as physically possible, but often as not, as the saying, the irritating phrase goes, less is more. When you have fewer varieties and you repeat plant them, that can create so much more continuity within the design, that it brings a level of coherence and clarity that a lot of different plants all put in just doesn't. So don't be scared to put something in more than once, because let's face it, if a plant is good enough to go in once, why not have it go repeated around the garden? And that continuity, it brings a sense of peace, and I think that's something we all need right now. So the more peaceful you can make your planting, the better, in my opinion. Now, peaceful doesn't mean dull, it just means that the colours go together. So you can use quite strong colours, as shown in these gardens, but it's the fact that there's coherence in the planting and the colour schemes. They're working, and notice the repeat planting in these schemes. They've used the same one main flower over and over. Now, the one argument against repeat planting is that what happens when whatever you've chosen finishes flowering? Now, one could argue that you could use evergreen plants, and yes, you can, but there is a way of doing repeat planting and have your garden look good at any time of year. Now, that does take a little bit of thinking about, but it absolutely is possible. But I'm afraid I'm not going to tell you how to do it in this video, because that's something that we save for the Plant Design Formula course. If you'd like to learn the secret sauce for creating stunning planting schemes that look good all year round, then click on the link beneath this video and check out the Plant Design Formula course. And we've had students get fantastic results using this course. And it also includes a customizable plant database, so you can sort plants in size, shape, colour, and we're going to do a half price offer, and it's going to come with the 5-minute plant expert course, which tells you how to know what conditions a plant needs just by looking at its leaves. So you can get the two together for half price for the whole of the month of May 2021. So let's do a quick recap. We've looked at colour combining and how important that is to create a calm yet colourful display. And here's an extra tip for you. If you take into account the colours in the room that you've got in your house that you're looking mostly to the garden from, and you tie that in, that can really add an extra wow factor. So if you've got some bright pink cushions and then you've got some bright pink plants dotted around the garden, that can really add an additional impact. But we've also looked at how important having just a fewer varieties, how much difference that can make, because it brings so much more coherence and clarity. It's an important part of the jigsaw puzzle not to get overly carried away with the different types of varieties that you put in the garden. And last but not least, repeat planting. That will enable you to not only have splashes of colour all over the garden, but it also enables you to use fewer varieties because you are repeating the star performers all around the garden. So I hope this episode has really inspired you to take the best from nature and recreate what she does so wonderfully well. And for those of you that love hiking and being out in nature, I thought I'd leave you with a couple of minutes of the stunning scenery around Lentehi, where most of this was filmed, just in case you're in the area and ever want to do the walk. And I'll put a link below to the PDF that shows you the route. And even if you can't get here, I highly recommend just getting out in nature, and it's the best way to find peace that I have found. There's a lot to be said for unplugging from all that is man-made and manufactured and getting back into nature, where you can get back into touch with what's real and true. So get out there and get walking if you can. Until next time, take care. Okay, baby girl, let's go home. Good girl.